Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Good neighbor he got up there.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's for our Thursday, 5:15 regular city council meeting. First thing we'll do is a pledge of allegiance. Councilmember Cuevas, will you lead us, please?
Certainly. Please rise and remove your hats. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Cuevas. We have all city council members here. First thing we'll do here is our citizen comments, a period to provide opportunity for members of the public to address the council on any matter, including items on the agenda. If they're, please just come up and address the council with your name and address. We'll limit it to 3 minutes. So who's up first?
I'll go. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to address you. My name's Russ Truman. I'm actually a resident of East Wenatchee, but I grew up in Sunny Slope. I graduated from Wenatchee High School in 1973. First class in the building that's currently the high school. I'm a retired USDA Forest Service employee. I started in 1975 on an engine crew. I worked for the Forest Service for 30 years, all in fire management. I worked on 5 different forests in 3 different states. I've worked on BLM units and national park units. I'm here today to talk to you about the recent termination of probationary employees, the freezing of federal funds, and the RIF process, the reduction in force that's currently happening within the federal government. At this point, I'm sure you know, 38 employees of the Wenatchee National Forest were terminated. BLM lost a person, NRCS lost a person. Their funds are frozen. They don't have the ability to pay contractors. Agricultural Resource Service lost people at the Tree Fruit Research Center. There's been a Merit Promotion Board decision that those Forest Service employees be rehired for 45 days. That hasn't happened yet. There was a court ruling today that said that BLM Forest Service or USDA and BLM Department of Interior employees needed to be rehired. Please keep an eye on what happens there, because what happens impacts the local community. Imagine the Enchantments last year had 175,000 visitors. What happens if the Forest Service decides with the current workforce they can only manage having 25,000 up there for the summer? Think of the economic loss. Think without the folks up there doing their thing. And think about what's going to happen ecologically. Think about what's the lack of services people in the valley are going to be provided. I'm asking you to write a letter to the county commission, the governor, and the entire congressional delegation, including Newhouse. Demand that future efficiency efforts include opportunities for entities like you and the state and the county to provide input so that your residents get the services they've come to expect. Demand that appropriated funds be released so that folks can pay their contractors and follow through with their fiscal and contractual obligations. Right now, the folks that are getting ready for the fire season have a $1 spending limit on their cards. That's it. They can't go beyond what they need for this upcoming fire season.
Sir, if you can just finish up in like 15 more seconds, that'd be great.
Thank you for the opportunity today. I'd love to know what you think about this topic, either today or on a future agenda item for the council. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time. My contact information is in the information I emailed earlier today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
May I have an extra 30 seconds?
Well, let's start off with your 3 minutes first. How's
Okay,
that?
I'll talk really fast.
Okay.
I could breathe if I had a 30-second. Okay. Great. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council. My name is Suzanne Cable, and I live in Wenatchee. I retired from the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest in 2024. I was the Forest Level Program Manager for the Recreation Trails and Wilderness Programs. My 30-year career provided me with a wide range experience working for the federal government in the western states. I'm here tonight to ask you to use your power and influence as elected officials to protect the well-being of the citizens of Wenatchee and North Central Washington. The Trump administration is in the process of systematically and indiscriminately dismantling the federal government workforce. The actions being taken will cause harm to the well-being of the residents of Wenatchee. The Trump impacts will be widespread and touch the lives of many residents in many, many ways as federal agencies become unable to deliver on their statutorily mandated missions. I am here to encourage you to take action while there is still time to influence outcomes. As directed by the presidential executive order signed on February 11th, reduction in force personnel cuts to the federal workforce will be significantly larger than what has occurred so far. While the status of fired federal probationary workers has been in the news lately, the reduction in force is still coming. It is the legal method to reduce the workforce, and many more Wenatchee residents are likely to lose their jobs. Reduction in force plans for every federal department and agency are due today. Agencies have 30 days to further refine their plans and to prepare for implementation. These plans have so far been prepared at the highest levels of the federal government in isolation, without consultation with local agency leadership or state and local authorities to cooperatively identify ways to constructively, rather than destructively, reform our federal government. I'm personally deeply concerned about the impacts that will occur to our local Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest and the Wilderness Recreation and Trails programs. Unmanaged recreation on the National Forest System lands due to a reduced workforce will lead to impacts to water quality and wildlife, the availability and quality of recreational experiences, and threats to the health and safety of emergency responders and visitors. Other impacts of major Forest Service cuts will include reduced wildland fire response, reduced forest and fuels management, and stalled implementation of natural resource restoration projects. A functional national forest in Wenatchee's backyard is essential to protect local jobs, the environment, our quality of life, the thriving outdoor recreation economy, and the growing reputation of Wenatchee as a premier outdoor recreation tourism destination. I urge you to work in an alliance with other city councils from Eastern Washington to speak out with a united voice to our county, state, and federal elected officials, as well as federal government officers such as the USDA Secretary and Chief of the Forest Service. I urge you to demand that reduction in force plans immediately be made public, that local and state officials be given the opportunity to assess the impacts of federal workforce reductions to their communities.
Okay.
And that going forward, the federal administration must consult with state and local partners to determine the most efficient workforce to continue to serve the residents of Wenatchee and North Central Washington. Citizens have been speaking out and influencing the national discourse in this time of extreme change. We need all elected officials to do the same. So I'm available to talk to you more about this issue and to support your deliberation. In case it is helpful to get started, I have submitted an example letter recently sent by a statewide coalition of elected officials and other concerned citizens doing exactly what I have asked you to do here tonight as a city council, and I hope that you'll review that information and take it into consideration. Thank you.
Yes, so you mentioned you sent us something to the city council already? Did you just get, okay, I haven't checked email for like 2 hours.
We have it.
So did you send something
I
to the city?
did. I
Okay,
submitted my written comments in the letter that I just referred to.
okay, perfect. I just want to make sure you guys did that.
Thank
Okay.
you for checking.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Rick Edwards. I'm a longtime resident of East Wenatchee, but I consider myself a resident of the greater Wenatchee Valley. I am also a long-term Forest Service retiree, but I'm not going to, and I reinforce everything that Russ and Suzanne just said, but I'm going to bring things closer to home. You would agree that agriculture is pretty important to the Wenatchee Valley. Agricultural research is very important to that ag economy. We have an internationally renowned fruit science lab in our community. It's an intertwined partnership between the federal and state. And my understanding is that the federal wing, the USDA Agricultural Resource Service, and has received so far a 40% cut in staffing. Incredibly, the remaining federal research staff there are under a gag order not to speak in any detail about this. Those cuts could trigger a great deal of change in that facility. Wenatchee has had a tree fruit lab since 1913, and that lab has created some internationally important results, like coming up with controlled atmosphere, and many other insects and disease-related things. So what does that mean when principal investigators disappear and their staff disappear? It means that disease infecting your cherry orchard in 3 years will have a field day because there's no control method that was developed because the research was terminated. It means the development of a method to improve pear ripening will not exist because a new research program was never funded. It means that the next big breakthrough in fruit storage technology will not exist because it was never developed. When the spotted lanternfly finally shows up in the valley, if there's not some good IPM work done to figure out how to control it, we're in trouble. And that goes to the tree in your backyard, vineyards, the whole 9 yards. In short, last year's treatments are an economic failure against next year's pests and diseases. So the ARS side of there's two big buildings there, if you're familiar with it. Wazoo occupies one, the ARS occupies the other. ARS, the feds pay almost $350,000 a year to Washington State to lease that building. There's one major thing. ARS has gone from 25 to 14 employees. At least 4 of those employees were funded by industry funds, not federal appropriated dollars, by funds collected from growers to solve questions that they needed to know about 5 and 10 years from now. So I'll be back. I'm bringing the leader of the lab and a couple of growers in a couple meetings. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Do you two guys need some help coming up?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, knees are going wah-wah.
Okay.
Hi, Mike, how you doing?
Here's your microphone there. So Dave Harold, I'm the general manager and part owner of Resort Radio, which is Sunny FM. And we are here to cordially invite the council, and of course the mayor will be leading the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which will be happening next Monday, of course, on St. Patrick's Day. And the East Wenatchee mayor will be following suit right behind you, as will the Wenatchee Police Department.
Probably side by side.
Oh, yeah, side by side. And the Wenatchee Police Department will be escorting you, as you know, Mayor, and there'll be other law enforcement officers to protect both mayors as well.
And I am Tom Irvin. I'm with the Wenatchee Downtown Kiwanis Club. We co-sponsor with Sunny FM the parade. And like I say, we're just here to spread fun. Not so serious stuff.
We have made proper application at $100 for the parade permit and notified all departments of the city of Wenatchee and hope that we are in compliance.
And if possible, we'd like $100 reimbursed, please.
So we invite you all to for the fun, and this is the 44th annual
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day Parade, which was started by our mayor, the former Jim Lynch, back in
Lynch.
1981. And we thank you, Mayor and City Council, for continuing this fun and important tradition.
And I'm sure you must have questions.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Who's your grand marshal this year?
well, it will be printed out in the Wenatchee World, and this
It's coming
probably
out
won't make some agencies very
Yeah.
very happy, but Elon Musk will be
Yes.
our grand marshal, and
Yeah, he will be.
that will be
Expecting that.
specifically
Now,
lined up.
remember, art is never, ever shown. So before people here get excited, we've never had a grand marshal show. That
Who was last year then?
Pardon me?
Whose was last year?
Gee, I don't remember.
Well, I don't know. We've gone
Taylor
through about
Swift or
it.
something?
We've gone
They
through
never
about it.
show.
We've had Elvis
Yeah.
Presley, we've
Kevin
had Taylor
Hart.
Swift. I mean,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
They have never showed up. They're busy people.
Yeah, they
Sort
are.
of like Elon.
and
Okay.
Elon, yeah, Elon's a little busy at this point.
Thank you
so-
very much for your,
I think your 3 minutes are up.
thank you.
Are they? You want us out of here, don't you, Mike?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
We gotta take things serious and gotta have a little fun too, but yeah, I'm looking back at you guys and we do take you serious. So. Hello,
Hello, Mayor Poyer and council members. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm Rosa Polito, Executive Director for the Wenatchee Downtown Association, and our board had a great idea that we would come monthly to just kind of share the fun that's happening downtown. So with that, I just wanted to let you guys know we did host some representatives from Main Street America last week. It was their first time in Wenatchee, which was great. They got to experience it for the first time and they loved it. I'm also thrilled to share that our downtown organization continues to meet all the national and state standards to remain a designated Main Street program, which is amazing. And that is just a true testament to the partnerships that we've developed over the last 30 years, you know, and the city being one of the major partners. So thank you guys for your support. We also have a ton of volunteers. So right now, the WDA has 44 active volunteers who contribute monthly their time and expertise to make downtown what it is. Their work spans from everything, event planning to beautification of downtown, and we really couldn't do it without them. We're also excited to welcome 3 new businesses to downtown in the last month. We had Fable, the bookstore. We also have the Golf Dojo on Mission Street and Treasure Trove, which is super exciting to see Mission Street come to life. Also Kurt and Kathy Gavin, who own the GPA embroidery building, they're actually right now developing 3 additional spaces to welcome 3 new businesses to downtown. So that's just great seeing business and property owners work like that to expand the opportunities for other small businesses in the community. I also just wanted to give a special shout out to the city Parks and Rec team. They do so much for our downtown. And I know that they're super busy and sometimes short staffed. So just a shout out to them for helping us in our design efforts in downtown. Moving forward, I'll have a WDA board member come and give the updates too, so you all get a chance to meet each and every one of them. I think my board chair is on Zoom right now, so he's definitely listening in and super supportive of all the things that you guys have done for us. So thank you. That's all I have today.
thank you, Rosa. Oh, okay, perfect.
Hi, I'm Chris Crilling, and I have kind of boring stuff to talk to you about, but I'm here to talk to you about my neighborhood. I'm just going to read through some facts and some datelines here. Sagecrest Apartments, which is located on Maple Street, were approved in 2019 for 60 apartments, and it said two buildings, but there are more than 2 buildings, and I don't know how many parking spots. Phase 2, which has not been built yet, is the one that I'm concerned about. It's called Sagecrest West, and it came across as 95 units, 1 to 2 bedroom apartments. The project, this is quote, "The project would generate a total of 675 new daily trips on Maple Street, below the threshold that requires a full transportation study. The trip estimate was generated from data in a preliminary traffic report. The Sagecrest apartment proposal includes constructions of 95 apartments, 1 and 2 bedroom, and would spread across 4 3-story buildings. I did talk to Scott Hutchison, which is the person that's in charge of all the building, and he stated there would be a 6-foot vinyl fence. I'm concerned because my property, there's 4 lots that are affected by this. And we are talking about 3-story apartment buildings 6 feet from our backyard. We've already installed a privacy screen at the end of our property at 1311 Pershing. We got tired of seeing cars, headlights, and people walking by. August 23, I wrote a letter on behalf of 1303, 1309, 1311, and 1315, where the properties that will have the balconies staring into our backyard. I talked to Tom Sanford, who's a developmental review engineer, and asked about the traffic analysis. And I was concerned because the analysis occurred on phase 2, but I thought phase 1 and phase 2 should be combined and a new traffic analysis should happen. And supposedly it did. My other concern with having the traffic is parking. And we already have on Pershing Street, 4 to 6 cars parked on Pershing Street with people that don't live on the street. I would say most of them are probably from Twin Peaks Mobile Home Park because they limit parking in their facility, so they park on a public street. And I realize it's a public street, but that's really not the issue. I'm also one of the monitors of the Maple Street irrigation lateral, and I know that a main line runs through the south end of both Sagecrest properties. Hopefully, they've installed main valve turnoffs, because if that way, if they have a leak, we don't have to go up to the ditch and turn off the water for everybody online. I was told that they would then do a new traffic study. So the threshold supposedly was 750 daily trips, but just the phase 2 was 675. So with the combined, I don't understand how nothing is going to be done. I was told that the intersection and driveway approaches are fine, and so nothing needs to be done. I don't understand what that means. I mean, how can a driveway to the apartment complex solve all the problems? So we're talking about, what, 1,000, 1,500 new cars taking trips up Maple Street, and that's already a mess? I'll be quick here. There's, now that it's 7 three-story buildings with 102 units. That was snuck in. I just read that, and I went onto the city email or whatever, website to see what was going on. So they have 133 parking spaces for 102 apartments, and some of them are 2-bedroom apartments. I really don't understand how that works. Where are these people gonna park? Maple Street has no on-street parking. So are they gonna park at Foothills? Are they gonna park at the soccer field? Hopefully, or Pershing Street, excuse me, it's too far to walk. Anyway, I understand housing is needed, but the rent in those places is $1,600 to $1,900 per month. So that's not exactly meeting housing needs in the city of Wenatchee. By the way, one of the properties that I talked about, we own, it's a rental property. It's a 3-bedroom, one bath place. We rent it for $1,500 a month, way under standard. So I don't know what's gonna happen with this. I don't know if things are a done deal, but it's very frustrating as a person that pays attention to what's going on. And the rules get changed, things get changed. I asked for the new traffic study numbers to be sent to me a couple weeks ago. It hasn't happened. So, questions?
Thanks, yeah, we're just here to listen and go from there.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
As a neighbor, it's not a fun deal. So, okay, thanks.
We have one person online, and then we'll be right back. Okay. Who do we got?
Josh, did you want to make some comments? Josh Tarr?
Yes, please, if I could. Can you hear me all right?
Yes. I'll set the timer for 3 minutes.
Awesome. I'll get it done quick. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm just here to sing the praises of, my name is Josh Tarr. I own American Shoe Shop at 126 North Wenatchee Avenue, live on 946 Highland Drive, and I'm here to sing the praises of the Wenatchee Police Department. The American Shoe Shop, in the last 3 months, have had 2 thefts, despite our upgrading our security and trying to use best practices as a downtown business. But because of the leadership of Chief Edgar Reinfeld, the hard work and dedication of Officer Miguel Ruiz, and the tireless commitment to this community from the Rivercom Dispatch, we have had arrests in both cases. We've had product return, and despite the seeming uptick of crime in my business, we still feel super safe and supported in downtown Wenatchee. So thank you. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor Poirier. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Wenatchee Police Department. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Josh. You didn't buy another business, did you?
No, sadly we didn't.
Okay,
But it all happens for a reason, right?
yes.
So my name is Carlos Corrales. I am the owner of the Crepe House, and I am here to invite you guys to our 2nd annual Easter egg hunt. So we had our first egg hunt last year, And we had over 300 guests attend to this egg hunt, and 30 businesses all over the valley participate. It was one of the most exciting events that I have ever hosted, and really seeing that community involvement was such a thrill. This year, I was kind of hesitant about doing it. I was like, you know what, let me just make some calls here and there. Let's see if we're even gonna do it. First 5 people I called, they're like, okay, we're in. I already got you the donation, and let's just move forward. So it's happening again. Also, so basically, this year I want to make it bigger and better. So we are participating or asking around with more businesses, that being realtors, insurance companies, not just food and beverage like I did last year. And the goal is basically to have guests go around to all of these businesses, collect eggs, and discover new businesses. So, you know, maybe you need your new realtor. Oh, well, you know, I'm going into this realting business, or taxes, especially right now, it's a hassle, you know, so it's, especially all these like new coffee shops that are opening up left and right too, and, you know, new businesses that are coming out, and I'm giving everyone the opportunity to go check these businesses out. So if you have any businesses that you would like to recommend I go talk to, just let me know. Definitely be there right now. But yeah, so with that, instead of doing a vendor fee this year for all the businesses and vendors, so we're just asking for a donation of bicycles. So our goal is to give back bicycles to our community. So all these kids that are going around basically. So let's just get them back. You know, they get entered into the raffle, but at the end of the day, they're going to be winning a bicycle. So that being from little tricycles to like a 13, 15-year-old bicycle kind of thing. I just talked to a bicycle repairman too. So he potentially will be on site helping us, you know, if there's not new bicycles, it would be used bicycles that need to be repaired, or teaching the kids on how to repair their bicycles just in case it breaks down. But yeah, so now it's a big community involvement again. I just posted it too on Instagram and Facebook, and seeing the community engagement, it's very fun. You know, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing it. We're going strong. Guests are saying like, oh, we enjoyed it last year. We're very happy that you're doing it again this year. And yeah, so it's going to be a new thing. It's on April 12th at the Crepe House from 3 to 6. And then you will be given 2 days to go visit all these participating businesses. All this information will be posted on our social media as well as our website, which is crepehousewenatchee.com/events. From that, I do have little mini flyers that if you guys want to keep today, but all the flyers are on the thing.
You can just put them on that desk right there, Carlos.
All right.
Thanks for giving back to the community. I know you do some other projects throughout the year. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Saxon Spillman. I live up on School Truck Road. And thanks for this opportunity, holding this up. So I have a response to Mayor Poyer's statement in the Wenatchee World last week of no easy answers. Your response was to a concerned group of citizens about ICE right below us, the least in the building. And after reading this news article, I became concerned that your statement was perhaps unwittingly too easily interpreted as dismissive or of the legitimate concerns of the people you represent. When it comes to ICE, you can trust us, people that are concerned. We already know that there are no easy answers. We were asking for answers, not the non-existent answers. In a town like Wenatchee, whose Latinx and multiracial residents account for close to half the population, it's heartbreaking to hear this kind of rhetoric. Platitudes and affected helplessness in the face of concerned people might characterize government messaging at the national level, but this valley's people need not succumb to such divisiveness. While you may not be able to do anything about the least ICE offices in this building, as mayor you can and should, as well as the city council, offer guidance and leadership to your community. While to lead the community through concerns about ICE, a law enforcement agency known regularly to break the law in pursuit of their ends, including just a few days ago, we have footage of them not following the law. I have some things that could perhaps help you all out. Number one, perhaps you could advocate for the protection of a class of people whose civil liberties are guaranteed by law, regardless of their immigration status. 2, you could speak to the students of our school district, of which almost 60% are Hispanic, and role model community building to them. 3, acknowledge and support the 14% of Wenatchee residents who were born in other countries and are suspect to this nasty kind of rhetoric. 4, you could work with orchard owners and orchard workers to better navigate the upcoming growing season, because it's going to be very difficult. 5, support many Latinx-owned businesses of our valley with statements of solidarity. And finally, or 6, develop a unified relationship with the town's college. Almost half of the students at WVC are also Latinx. And I should mention there's a lot of fear right now at colleges. And last, you could create an ICE response team to support and protect the lives and families of the Wenatchee Valley. These are voluntary teams to try to protect people when they see that these folks are around. So I look forward to hearing your ideas and leading.
Thank you for coming.
K. Allen Specht, 820 Cascade. I was here a few months ago. I'm here today to request action on an ongoing issue regarding the overgrown bushes at the corner of Cascade Street and Ferry Street, which consistently obstruct the sidewalk. For years, I took it upon myself to trim back the bushes whenever they overgrew, but as time went on, this became increasingly frustrating. Eventually, I reached out to code enforcement for help, but despite submitting multiple complaints each year, the bushes were trimmed only intermittently, and I often had to follow up repeatedly. Over time, I became more frustrated as the issue persisted, and my efforts escalated to the point where I was filing complaints every few weeks during the growing season, only to receive inconsistent results. In 2024, the situation became particularly severe, and I submitted numerous complaints in the spring. Despite my repeated efforts, the bushes were not addressed until late fall, after I attended a city council meeting. By that time, the bushes had already died due to winter weather. This delay only highlights the need for a more reliable, consistent solution. Good news, the city code already provides a clear solution. The 25-foot clear view triangle, which mandates that the trees and bushes shall be maintained at a maximum of 3 feet measured from the street elevation. The word shall in the city code creates a clear mandate for enforcement. This is not merely a guideline, it's a legal obligation. The city engineers reviewed the intersection to assess whether it met the Green Book code, and then took the city code as a guideline rather than enforcing it. This has resulted in continued non-enforcement of the clear view triangle as written in the city code. I don't believe that the Green Book supersedes city code. Why does a request to have the law applied as written require so much effort to avoid action? While I understand that Glenn has stated that this is not a priority for the city, I respectfully disagree. The city's annual pamphlet, as I handed off, includes a dedicated page on the Clearview Triangle with specific language mandating compliance. This shows that the city recognizes the importance of this issue. If it were not a priority, the city would not allocate resources to provide this information to residents. I'd like to raise 3 key points for your consideration. First, the city acknowledges the importance of the Clearview Triangle as evidenced by the pamphlet and the mandatory language used in the city code. 2, the current practice of responding to complaints wastes valuable resources. If the Clearview Triangle were enforced, there would be no need for continuous complaints or engineering assessments. The rule itself would ensure proper visibility without requiring ongoing intervention. 3, and most importantly, I'm asking for a long-term solution. After years of raising this issue, I fear nothing will change and the growth, complaint, evaluation cycle will continue. If enforcement of the Clearview Triangle is not an option, there has to be something else, so I'm not having to go out there and chop it down myself or submit complaints all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else online? Okay, we'll close the comment period and go to our consent items. Entertain them.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for the consent items, agenda vouchers, and minutes from previous meetings.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Ewer for City Council to approve the agenda vouchers and minutes from previous meetings. Any discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We have a couple presentations. Who has the Red Cross?
That would be me.
All right.
American Red Cross Month 2025. Whereas during American Red Cross Month in March, we celebrate Wenatchee, Washington's humanitarian spirit, reaffirming our commitment to help ensure no one faces a crisis alone. Caring for one another is at the heart of our community and exemplified by the people whose simple acts of kindness through the Red Cross provide help and hope in people's most difficult moments. Continuing the life-saving legacy of Claire Barton, who founded the organization more than 140 years ago to prevent and alleviate human suffering. Whereas every day, these ordinary individuals lend a helping hand to make an extraordinary difference for neighbors in need, whether it's providing emergency shelter, food, and comfort for families displaced by home fires and other disasters, donating life-saving blood for cancer patients, accident victims, and people with sickle cell disease and other life-threatening conditions. Supporting military members and veterans, along with their families and caregivers, through the unique challenges of service, using vital skills like first aid and CPR to help others survive medical emergencies, or delivering international humanitarian aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by crises all around the world. Whereas their support, volunteerism, and generous donations are critical to our community's resilience, we hereby recognize this month of March in honor of all who fulfill Clara Barton's noble words. You must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it, and ask everyone to join in this commitment. Now, therefore, I, Mike Poyer, hereby proclaim March 2025 as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of Wenatchee to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. In witness whereof, I have caused the seal of the City of Wenatchee to be affixed on this 13th day of March 2025.
Thank you, Councilman Rostian. Executive Director from Rivercom?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor and council members. I am representing the Red Cross as a community volunteer for the Red Cross for many years, and appreciate your recognition of the month of March and all the banners that you put up across the city and your street crews for all that they've done. So thank you so much.
Well, it's very appropriate because when we do Rivercom meetings, he always has once a month, life saves or something
Right,
like that.
right,
So this is kind of, it feels good that it's going to you. So
No, Red Cross is good.
thank you
Appreciate
for.
it. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, thanks, Eric.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Let's see, a presentation for pedestrian, who's doing that? Oh, great.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Ryan Harmon, Engineering Services Manager, and I'm joined today by Nicole Brockwell, our Project Engineer. I've been overseeing this project through design, and Nicole's going to be taking over throughout construction, and we wanted to make a presentation today just to give an update on the project, where it's at, and now that we're getting ready to get started, what that's going to look like.
Perfect. Thank you for that intro, Ryan. No, you've seen a lot of us lately, just between the award of the contract to Apollo and just our various amendments and whatnot. But again, like Ryan mentioned, we're here today to give you an update on upcoming construction, the schedule impacts, and we've got some really exciting renderings to share with you from our consultant of what these ped bridges are going to look like. But before we get to that, just for the benefit of the public and anyone listening in on tonight's session, we're going to start with just a quick overview. No council's aware of what we're doing, but just wanted to touch base on this real quick. So the South End Pike Bike Ped Access Bridges project is part of the network of projects that make up the Apple Capital Loop. It was included in our infra grant application as a standalone project. And the primary goal for this project is to remove just some of those existing barriers that both parts of our community face, as well as the city of East Wenatchee, into accessing the loop trail, which is such a critical network, as we all know, for our community in terms of connecting people to just vital community resources, job opportunities, and then also just, the recreational aspect of it. So this project seeks to, for our community, address the barrier that is the BNSF Railway for the South Wenatchee area specifically. And then similarly on the East Wenatchee side, although there is a protected crossing at the intersection, just improving the level of stress that it is to cross a state highway to get to the system. So with that, it will also provide a continuous north-south cycling walking route on dedicated right-of-way and really provide that east-west connectivity across the Columbia River. So once this project is all said and done, there'll be direct connectivity between Wenatchee's downtown and the downtown of East Wenatchee, and just the economic benefit, as well as just for our residents on both sides of the river, just being able to easily access both downtown areas is going to be huge. As far as funding for the project, so the total project budget is about $17.6 million, and this is inclusive of a design, right-of-way, inspection, and construction. As mentioned, it's funded predominantly by infra and FHWA, but it also has funds from Surface Transportation Block Grant, Carbon Reduction Program, as well as Move Ahead Washington dollars, as well as a small amount of local funds. Our local funds amount to about $234,000 of that $17.6 million. So a predominantly exterior funded project. This is kind of our first slide here. This is kind of the first sneak peek of what these renderings are going to look like. So this is a rendering of a top-down view of both bridges on both sides of the river. So the Wenatchee side oriented to the top right of the screen, and the East Wenatchee to the left. So just kind of seeing the crossing over the railroad tracks as well as the highway. And we've got some more zoomed up version visuals we'll share here shortly. Did want to touch on our project construction team. So the City of Wenatchee is the lead agency for this, but working in close partnership with the City of East Wenatchee. Apollo Inc. was the contractor. That was the lowest responsible bidder. The construction bid total was $13,260,502. This project was awarded on January 10th following council's approval. Also working for us for construction management is Exeltech Consulting. We had brought them on in May of 2023 for the design services for the project. And I just want to take a moment to highlight the time frame of how fast that is. So we brought them on in May 23, and we are in nearly 2 years later, and we are building this. So just a very expedited project. A lot of hard work went into that. So we executed a supplement with them in February to retain their services for construction management. And also a part of their team, we have quite a few local firms, RH2, also on the design, AAR testing for just materials testing for the project, Aquaterra, who will be providing cultural resources monitoring, as well as Aspect Consulting, who does geotech services. Now for the fun part. So we're going to start with the East Wenatchee side. Hopefully this just starts playing.
It's great.
Is there a special move?
Just while Nicole's working on this, just to give an understanding of what we're looking at. So this obviously Riverside looking east towards Gateway Park. We're going to be starting the new ramp structure right at the exit of the existing pipeline bridge, right in that plaza area. It's going to meander up via a graded structure for most of it, and then turn into a concrete pier supported structure, around there to tie into the existing bridge. A lot of the appeal was to navigate around the existing large boulders there, which is a construction limitation, but it can play into some of the natural area there. If you wanted to add it.
No, I think that was really great. As I was sharing on the screen, I don't know if Ryan touched on it, there will be a bridge access or stairs access. So there's an option for folks on the east side versus taking the long ramp. There will be a short way there for folks who are able to use that route. But yeah, no, this is, I believe, a 177-foot truss that'll extend over the highway and over the Cedars Inn parking lot and land over at the East Wenatchee Gateway Park there. These renderings are really great and just kind of visualizing some people using the trail and kind of what it might look like. You can see the connection point to the trail that extends towards Hydro Park there.
And in addition, yeah, like Nicole mentioned, there's gonna be the stairs option for people who are pedestrians moving that way. But everything else is designed at a 5% maximum slope, so it's gonna be a comfortable ride for riders, and also for other users who are walking and making their way across the path.
I think there's a few more in here, and then we'll. We received so many from our consultant, we just couldn't pick which ones to show you, so we decided to show you them all.
We don't often deal with the pretty pictures, and so yeah, it does make it harder to do. I think that was it.
Okay. So on the Wenatchee side, so hopefully I should just get going. So starting on the Wenatchee side, so this is the first view is looking from Hill Park south, and so you can see connecting from the existing structure off over across the railroad tracks there, as well as the long ramp that'll extend towards Hill Park. So this will hug the right-of-way between the railway and the park, so the skate park and all of those amenities will stay intact. And again, just providing that crossing over the tracks, and then we'll have a nice, call it helical ramp structure that'll ramp people down, again, on a nice ADA compliant slope. It'll terminate at the intersection of Bridge Street and Columbia. Maybe make a plug that we do have a future project pending to develop Bridge Street further from Columbia all the way to South Wenatchee Avenue, so that connection point will be continued to be developed and support the multimodal access for our community in this area. I think as this progresses, yeah, it's just more visuals from the Hill Park area. Folks using the skate park.
Yeah, I'll jump in here too, just to reiterate what she had mentioned about the Bridge Street future improvements. So we did receive TIB grant funding to complete that, bringing it all the way up into to and through Wenatchee Avenue. That's really making that full connection from Valley Mall Parkway all the way to Wenatchee Avenue, which is was a key piece in what we were looking to do here. Another point that I would like to make regarding the Hale Park long access ramp, it's going to require a relocation of the loop trail. So rather than following along the shoreline like it always has and going up the existing ramp structure, we're going to be rerouting people to that backside of Hale Park. We'll maintain the existing access way for users of the dog park, but most traffic will be coming through and taking that long ramp up and over the railroad, or up and over to the existing bridge. I think that was the last one there.
I think so. So next we wanted to just kind of give you an update on the proposed construction schedule. So right now we are on track for an April 1st start date. Our contractor plans to get started on the East Wenatchee side of the project. So first order of business will be mobilizing, and then very quickly within the first several weeks they're going to get started on excavating for the piers. I believe the plan is to start on the close to the Valley Mall Parkway side of the bridge. They expect, as of right now, to be able to have the superstructure delivered and set at the end of September, beginning of October. So with the plan to finish the majority of the East Wenatchee improvements by mid-October timeframe. Kind of a staggered start for the Wenatchee side. Starting in June, they're going to demo the existing ramp off the pedestrian bridge that comes down into Hill Park currently. And the reason that needs to start in June is there's just some critical path work of that demo and things that need to happen to set up for some of the critical irrigation work that needs to happen. So I have some kind of notes below, but we do have a very tight window to do the irrigation work we need to do between October 16th and March 14th, just because we're trying to, of course, do the work when the water is off. So yeah, again, expecting to do the demo beginning of June. Once they get all the irrigation work and as much of the demo work done as they can, we have some utility relocations that'll be happening ongoing. They will have a short winter shutdown from December to about February, and then they'll come back to, and during that time frame, all of our utilities will be relocated, and they'll come back to finish the pier excavation construction and set the structure over the railroad tracks. So ultimately, with the project being ideally physically complete in November of '26. So you'll notice East Wenatchee side seems really short, the Wenatchee side seems really long, and it's just because of some of the conflicts we have to navigate on the west side, irrigation being one. Also one that I didn't touch on is we're limited on when we can set the structure over the railroad. No railroad work can occur between October 1st and December 31st. Also, just something I wanted to note is just given the length of the timeframe on the Wenatchee side, there will be intermittent and temporary closures of portions of Hill Park. We do have it in our contract that no one part of the park can be closed for more than 180 days. So it will be a long-term impact in that there will be portions closed probably throughout this period, but the park will never be fully closed at any one time. With that, I think Ryan's going to touch on construction impacts.
I'll deliver the bad news. So, as Nicole mentioned, the intent is that the existing ramp structure is going to be demoed starting in June. And so we're not going to have access to the existing Black Bridge for approximately 17 months while we're working on that demolition and then bringing everything back online. We do have detours in effect, so you can kind of see here, and Nicole will talk a little bit more to how we're going to get that out to the public here soon. But that is going to be it's a real deal, long-term negative impact that we're anticipating and trying to get out in front of and broadcast that, as Nicole will go over here shortly. So vehicle traffic, there's going to be limited impacts to SR 28 throughout that work. There's going to be, full closures while we're setting the trusses, obvious safety reasons there, but other than that, it'll be pretty limited. And as Nicole mentioned, portions of Hale Park will be closed intermittently. We kind of broke Hale Park into 3 different areas. There's the parking area with the restroom, the skate park area, and then there's the dog park area. No one of those is able to be closed for more than 180 days. But we do anticipate while they're building that or demoing the existing bridge structure or building those flyovers that access to the dog park area is going to be closed for that time frame. Or when we're building the ramp alongside the skate park, that's going to be closed. Just for safety, obviously, and then allowing the contractor work or area to work around in that area.
So with that, just obviously this is a very huge impact to our community, and so we're just wanted to kind of give you an update of what we're trying to do as far as public outreach is concerned, just to get this word out. We have a press release about the project that'll be coming out at the end of the month, predominantly to let people know about it, but also to advertise for a groundbreaking ceremony that we're tentatively planning for end of April. But just kind of going by the first month, so for March, we're looking to get the press release out. We are here today before you to give you this update. We will also be attending a City of East Wenatchee work session to give their council an update. We're going to be doing some door-to-door business outreach along Valley Mall Parkway, just because they're going to be the first impacted. We'll be doing a pop-up event at Pybus, just kind of outside there at the end of the month, where we'll have flyers, we'll have posters as far as the detour, just so we can start kind of doing that outreach with users of the trail, and obviously be using our social media and website just to start kind of this early broadcast that the project's starting, but then also trying to send the message that starting in June, you're going to have to use the detour. Also, and I think we have it on the next slide, but we've also been partnering with Link Transit, and they've been able to adjust one of their bus routes to move the stop closer, and I have a great graphic for that I'll show you. But doing things like that. In April, we'll have a groundbreaking ceremony. We also will be installing detour and project signs at all the major trailheads along the Loop Trail. And then in May, as we ramp up towards this closure, we'll be hitting the Classy Chassis. We're going to have a table there. I think we're hoping to also hit the farmers market in Wenatchee, do some door-to-door business outreach on the Wenatchee side as the work gets closer there. And again, just really using our social media. And then, of course, more outreach as the project continues, but we're trying to hit it very hard the first 3 months to get the word out, just because, again, we understand how impactful this is going to be. So again, part of our plan, just to get this out there, is we've been working with partner agencies, so Chelan County PUD, state parks, Douglas County, City of East Wenatchee, just to coordinate getting, this is an example of the poster. It's getting some minor tweaks, but this poster will be printed on aluminum signs and posted at every major trailhead. And so it provides a lot of information for public, both kind of a visual, as some of the renderings you've seen today, but it has QR codes to our website, as well as to that Link Transit bus route, which is an alternative for folks who might not be able to or may not want to take the full detour, just because it does add a pretty lengthy part to your commute. It just includes some information as far as what to expect, and really just kind of a comprehensive look of, hey, I'm here, where do I go? So again, that Link Transit, so it's the Route 12, and so I think this is an old map, but previously on 9th Street, the closest stop to the existing Ped Bridge was up by East Wenatchee City Hall, and they're actually moving it down to Alvin Court. I believe, which is not, it's as close as they can get within safety, within safety, just given the nature of that intersection. But it'll be a significantly closer stop, and again, on our posters and on the flyers we'll be advertising this stop, so just people know that if this is a longer walk or bike route than you were anticipating, you have another option. So grateful for their partnership there. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions council has regarding impacts or just the construction schedule or anything about the project in general.
It's exciting.
A lot of work into it. On the images, I didn't see any lighting. Is there gonna be lighting on the trails for the safety?
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit to this. So we are going to be implementing quite a bit of lighting throughout the project. There's going to be spatial lighting throughout the park, which is going to be your normal luminaire or light pole. We are also going to be putting lighting along the rails throughout the project, and that's going to be LED strip lighting. That's going to be what's producing the light on the trail or the bridge itself. And in an effort to limit light pollution, throw it exactly where it's supposed to go. It also looks nice. But in addition to that, we are going to be having security level lighting installed underneath it in an effort to discourage any sort of loitering, but then provide that safety element like you're mentioning.
Good work, guys. I've been following it the entire time. I arm wrestling on a couple of design elements, but huge proponent of more access to recreation. Our community is healthier, more connected, more vibrant because of it. So great job on getting this over the fence, and timeline's quick. We're gonna have some gnashing of teeth a little bit because we can't make the whole loop, but it is worth it. What they're used to.
Exactly.
Your traditional. Good call.
Maybe about halfway point, you can come in and give us another little update.
Yeah,
That'd be
of
great.
course.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the pretty pictures.
Yes, of course.
Okay, we'll go on to our action items.
Am I good? All right.
More recreation.
All right. Yeah, you get a whole bunch of stuff here. And this is another Nicole project, so we'll let her catch her breath and she can fix all the stuff I say wrong. So Rainbow Park, so if you guys know where that is, it's out in front of Walmart. It's 1.29 acres. We acquired it in 1999, so in between Maiden Lane and Horse Lake Road there. And Nicole has another project. So this is North Wenatchee Corridor Improvement Project. So some of the details there, basically it's Holly Street to Horse Lake Road. Going to be doing wider sidewalks, planter strips, some stormwater treatment, U-turns at intersections, and a few other items. Sort of the landscaping like you see along Mega Kittrick as well. Why are we here, really? There's some impacts to Rainbow Park. So to do the wider sidewalks, you have to kind of go into the park a bit, remove some of the trees. The monument that's out there on the corner has to be relocated. And though there will be some improved stormwater treatment through this project as well. And quickly, why are we even talking about this? Yeah, it's a cool project, let's do it. Well, we have a policy that's adopted. Anytime that we remove park property from the park inventory, we have to go through a review process. So the Arts Rec and Park Commission reviewed this, and then it's got to come on to City Council for final decision. So at their February meeting, the commission took a look at it. They thought, yep, they unanimously recommended that we move ahead with this. They really were excited for the pedestrian improvements out there to make it a lot more inviting for pedestrians to walk along this section when it's all done. So with that, we're actually requesting that we move approval of the use of the portion of the park for this project, and then also classify the impacts as de minimis. So meaning that they're just minimal impacts to the park. Nicole can answer any of the project questions. I went through it super quick, but that's kind of the gist of this project.
Seems simple enough.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to approve the use of a portion of Rainbow Park for the North Wenatchee Avenue project and classify the related impacts as de minimis.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Atkinson, seconded by Councilmember Hornby for City Council to approve the use of a portion of Rainbow Park for the North Wenatchee Avenue project and classify the related impacts as de minimis. Any other comments or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And Tim's pulling up my next presentation. All right, so the next one is actually, the PowerPoint is actually 3 different motions, 3 different items, but to save paper, I threw it all on one agenda report for you. So the first one, these are really housekeeping items, the 2 that respond to park fees. Both of them were recommended for approval by the Arts Rec and Park Commission at their January 2025 meeting. So our department charges a variety of fees and charges for everything from picnic shelter rentals to recreation program reservations, the sale of cemetery plots. We've got a variety of different fees and charges. And so all of our fees and charges are posted on the website. You can kind of see where they're at there on the fees and charges section. And then you can download all of the different fees that we have. We've got 7 pages of fees and charges. There's so many of them out there. And then we also put those on all of our promotional materials. So in our summer recreation guide, we have all the fees listed in there for each individual program, as well as on our program flyers that we distribute out. A couple of the examples are here for you. One of the cool things about the program policies that we're requesting adoption are that one of our long-term goals for the department is to become nationally accredited. It's a huge, thick book of requirements. This would satisfy 2 of those little requirements in there. So that's kind of just a cool side note. So in 2011 and 2012, we developed a pricing plan. And in that plan, it listed out kind of a philosophy that we would follow when we're developing new fees for new programs. And it also sets goals for cost recovery and things like that, as well as guidelines. So in that adopted plan, which was adopted by City Council, Resolution 2012-34, what we want to do is pull out just the policy section out of that document and dump it into our Parks and Recreation Policy Manual. So it makes it more convenient, more easy to administer and to look at. So that policy document, or the plan, is huge, it's enormous. And so we want to take that and just put in the 2 or 3 page policy piece of it into our manual. So that's all this is asking to do. The only changes that we've made in it are, we changed the name of the department because that's changed since 2011, and changed some of the titles. But everything else, all the content and everything else is exactly the same. With that, I'd request your approval of Resolution 2025-03, which would adopt that policy again.
I don't know this answer. If I don't have any money, can my kid go to the swimming pool?
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. So last year, for example, for Public Swim, Numerica Credit Union sponsored Fridays at the pool. So for Public Swim, if you went up there, you could swim for free, and they covered everybody's swim admission. If you're looking at doing swim lessons, we do have a scholarship program that is run through the Sports Foundation, and that pays for free swim lesson registration for kids as well. So a couple of different options that way.
Thank you.
So we're doing each of these individually?
No, they're all separate.
All
Yeah,
together.
so we have one resolution for this one. Each item we'd handle separately. Oh, it is.
Can we do one motion?
Okay.
One motion?
Yep.
The
Your
motion
Honor, I
we have
move for,
is-
is it okay?
For the other 2 first, though.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I'll roll through all of the other items and then you can handle the motion.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Moving on, slightly different. So this is our removal of unauthorized camp policy and procedure update. So back in 2021, we asked council to approve a policy and procedure for addressing encampments. And so this policy and procedure, it outlines things like how we post the sites, how we clean it up, how we notify and all of that. We're kind of in foreshadowing of things to come. Well, October of 2023, we put it into action when we cleaned up encampments along the river at Hale Park and removed over 60,000 pounds of trash along the river in that first cleanup. Moving ahead, we did it again. Same area. We cleaned it up again the following March. Removed another 1.6 tons of trash from the same area. And then we followed it up again in May and did another cleanup, and I didn't keep track of the tonnage that time, but of trash by the Salvation Army. So the top one was the previous cleanup in March, and the bottom one was the one in May. So with the staffing changes that we have now, so now we have a homeless administrator, time has changed, some of the code has changed. What we wanted to do is update the code to address these items. And so what we did is we took our existing code, we added, the changes were sort of minimal in some spots. So we added the applicable city code sections to chapter 2 of our current policy. Chapter 3, or section 3, the content is basically exactly the same. We just changed a little bit of minor wording. And then we added in section 4 in there to address those things like we dealt with last year at Locomotive Park. So things that were maybe not established, long-standing, huge encampments. These are more the immediate areas that we wanted to address. Like we were addressing Lincoln or Locomotive Park every single week. And so there's a couple of pictures there from that. So really, it gives us a little bit more, the ability to be more nimble on responding to some things. So this policy was reviewed by, I think, virtually every city department, as well as city attorney. The Arts Rec and Park Commission reviewed it, and then they recommended approval at their January 2025 meeting. I should mention too, and I have it up on the screen, but Locomotive Park last year alone, on Cellar Bridge, we removed over 500,000 pounds of trash from there during the year. So a lot of nimbleness, I should say. Okay, then our last one, jumping back to fees again. So similar to our pricing policy, we have kind of procedures in place on how we adjust fees of established programs. So this is things like using the inflation rates to adjust our fees every year to keep up with inflation. How we round fees. Do we round them to the nearest dollar? Do we not round them for the various types of fees? It establishes the preseason rate for the pool and the regular season rate for the pool and resident discounts. Some of these have been in place for a long time. We took all these to the Arts Rec and Park Commission in January of 2023. They said, yep, we like it. We want to recommend approval. Well, then 2024 happened, which was a lot of time on that previous item as well as construction projects. So it just kind of got shuffled to the side. We brought it back to the commission in January 2025, said, are you guys still good with this? I know it's been a year. They said, yep, we unanimously recommend moving ahead with that. So this one, we're requesting approval of this resolution, which would then formalize these policies. We can drop them into our policy and procedure manual and move ahead. With that, I could try to answer any questions you might have on any of these.
Questions for me?
Guess we're good, Jen.
We have one more, right?
Go ahead.
Do we have one more, or?
One more.
That's what
That's
I
all
had.
three.
We're good.
That's it, okay.
That's it?
I'll stop there. I had one more, but we pulled it early off the agenda.
Okay, Your Honor, I would like to make a motion to approve. Motion for City Council to approve Resolution Number 2025-03, adopting the Parks and Recreation Pricing Policy, and Resolution Number 2025-04, amending the removal of unauthorized camps policy, as well as Resolution Number 2025-05, adopting the standardized fee adjustment policy for the adjustment of fees, rates, and charges for parks and recreational programs, services, and facilities.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Navarro Gomez and second by Councilmember Ewer for City Council to approve Resolution Number 2025-03, adopting the Parks and Recreation Pricing Policy. Resolution Number 2025-04, amending the removal of unauthorized camps policy. And Resolution Number 2025-05, adopting the standardized fees adjustment policy for the adjustment of fees, rates, and charges for parks and recreational programs, services, and facilities. Any other discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All action items were David. Okay.
Go Dave.
Go Dave. So we can go to reports. I'll be quick here. We do have an open house on March 26th at 5 PM here, if you can make it, for the North Wenatchee Corridor Improvement Project. I do want to shout out Councilmember Navarro Gomez for taking the time to learn more about the departments and coming through here. I know it takes quite a bit of time at first to go through it, and thanks for keeping an open mind and taking lots of notes and paying attention. Last week, some of us got to go, but it was nice to go to the Chamber of Commerce dinner and celebrating our local businesses. That's all I have, so we'll just go around. Be okay? Councilmember Harold?
I have nothing because I've been out of town.
Okay.
I have nothing either.
Let's see. First, thank you to everybody for coming for banquet. Really appreciate the city showed up for that. We had public services meeting, which was great. And then also I went and followed up with the code enforcement board too, because I hadn't experienced that yet. And that was something we spoke about. So I went and watched that and got to learn a lot. And that's it.
That sounds like enough.
I went to, there was a public outreach by a company called Helion the other day at Mission View Elementary. They're talking about doing pioneering fusion energy in Malaga, which is right there. So just, yeah, that was really interesting, and I'd like to know more about how that would affect us here in Wenatchee. And then, yeah, that's it.
They leased 50 acres, I think, out there, right?
Yeah.
I think they're going for it, aren't they?
I think they're doing it the right way by doing community outreach before they apply for any permits,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Councilmember Hornby?
I was on the link board, and the bus garage is coming along really well. It's on schedule, on target for budget, so that's good news. The WDA meeting, they're getting some responses from parking, and Tito showed up. He represented the city extremely well, so proud of that young man. That's it.
Continuing discussions with the museum, and we go into their board meeting this week, so next week, I mean.
It's a big lift. Thanks for, thanks for getting knowledgeable seriously with the museum and proceeding further and seeing both sides. That does mean a lot.
Just a shout out to our Parks and Recs team. I attended my first ever Special Olympics with a group of about 20 youth group members, and it was just beautiful to see the amazing work that our city, just their commitment to the needs of our whole community. It was just amazing. Again, Councilmember Ewart, congratulations. That I know you will say it was a team effort, but it was just amazing to attend the banquet and see all the great work that you put into that. Working with Jose Cuevas on getting our survey out, and we just got an email today saying that they put out our survey to all of the Wenatchee School District families. So hopefully we'll get more responses from our community. And working with Councilmember Atkinson, I wanted to say it right. And we're working on planning our junior city council. So we're excited to slowly move in that direction. Thank you.
I think it's time to talk a little bit about our council assignments, because we have Councilman Navarro Gomez here. Councilmember Harold, you talked a little bit, you might, or maybe looking for a little help for one of your spots.
I'm just interested in seeing if anyone would be willing to take over the board appointment for Masawa, the Wenatchee Valley Masawa Sister City Association.
And that meets the first and third Thursday at 5:30
Yeah.
PM at East Wenatchee City Hall.
Yes.
Okay. Is anybody interested in that? Councilman Navarro, is that something
I was
that
going to say
does that
that's
interest you at
something
all?
that I would be interested in.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what you could do is like, you could be primary, then have an alternate, and that
Yeah,
might
I
be the
can be
way.
your alternate
That might
if
be the
you'd
way to
like.
go on that.
Okay.
There is, I'm in charge of the welcoming dinner during Apple Blossom, but that's pretty much handled.
Okay.
I won't be there, but I have staff from the convention center that's gonna take care of it.
Okay.
And they're donating their time and I'll be making part of the dinner, and they'll cook it off at the convention center, so. But that's pretty much handled. I'm not gonna bail on that, because it's a big project, but. And if you'd like, I can take you to the next meeting. I'll make Sarah Fitzgerald aware of what we've decided, and I'll go with you to the next meeting so that we can let them know.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you for doing that.
And then start getting all the emails over to her. until
Yes,
she gets on the list.
absolutely.
That'd be great. Yeah. Well, thank you.
I was just going to say, I think there's another commitment at that time, but we'll make it work, right?
Beg your pardon?
If I have another,
Yeah, just let me know. I can fill
Okay.
in for you. And I don't want to completely drop out. It's just that right now I'm finding that my workload has doubled because I have a salesperson out on maternity leave and
no
I can't
worries.
keep up.
Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else want to talk about their council assignments?
So on the WDA, I'm fine with that meeting, but then I'm on a additional one of their committees, and I'm having conflict with the chamber meeting with their economic committee meeting at the WDA. So they're at the same time, they're on Tuesdays at noon. I could take the chamber if someone would be willing to take the economic, or vice versa. I'm flexible.
What is this,
Flexible,
every
Once a month,
once a month, Tuesdays at noon?
yeah.
I could do chamber.
You do chamber?
I could do chamber because, yeah, I'm
You're right there.
right there.
I'm in.
What about the Downtown Association, that one too, or not?
So it's just a committee. Since I'm a board member, I should probably take that one as a priority, but if someone could take the chamber
I'll
on,
do-
that'd be
I
great.
can do
I'll be your
chamber.
alternate.
Sounds good.
And then there is a correction on the time the WDA Association meets. It's 1:30 PM on the second Wednesdays.
So right now, I'm already the alternate. We would just
Yep.
switch.
Yep.
All right.
For the chamber, yep.
Cool.
Thank you, Top.
Sure.
Any other ones? If not, then we need to bring it back for adoption, or, so we can do that next city council meeting. If you guys have any other thing, why don't you guys email Tammy, and we'll see, go from there between now and the next meeting. Okay? How about a motion for executive session?
Oh, I got that.
Okay. For how many minutes are we looking for?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, thanks.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion for city council to meet in executive session for a time period not to exceed 10 minutes with legal counsel present to consider the minimum price at which real estate will be offered for sale when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause a likelihood of decreased price, RCW 42.30.110(1)(c).
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Osteen, and second by Councilmember Hornby for city council to meet in executive session for a time period not to exceed 10 minutes with legal counsel present to consider the minimum price at which real estate will be offered for sale when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause a likelihood of decreased price, RCW 42.30.1101(c). Any discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
And no action will be taken after the exec session.
All right, thanks for everybody waiting. Oh, wait. We are
Sorry.
back from our executive session and entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Ewer and second by Councilmember Cuevas to adjourn tonight's meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.